welcome to my channel. So I'm so excited to share with you my spring runway breakdown, document, talk through all the trends, talk through all the new things that are out there, and just really like get inspired for the warm seasons to come. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Mallory. I live in New York City. I work in the fashion industry. I'm a fashion designer, so I look at trends for my job, but it's all focused on like the customer that we have, which is not me. So this is my kind of fun outlet here on YouTube to research, look at fashion. Check me out if you haven't seen me before, and if you want to subscribe, I would love that. If you haven't seen my past videos, basically I do a spring runway breakdown because these are the documents and the things that I look at when I'm purchasing for myself, trying to revamp my closet. And when I do thrift trips, I often will point back to runways and looks that I saw and documents like this that I provide. And then I'll just talk through what we're gonna do today. So start off with the color. I also talk a little bit about big ideas, but this time I broke it out a little bit more strategically. Silhouette highlights, which is where I break out key items that I think that the stores are really gonna highlight, things that I predict are gonna be huge items, if you will. There are details and fabrics that I do as well, because yes, the silhouette can be something, but details and fabric are huge factors in trend. And then also accessories. So I don't go huge into accessories because I am more of a ready-to-wear designer, so I don't focus on that as much as my job, so I'm not as like on the pulse with it all, to be honest, but I do enjoy it a little bit, so we'll talk here and there about that too. And then after I go over my big overarching themes, I'll pick out my faves that I think are the most important and really dive into, and I'll just do a little bit of a disclaimer. First of all, this isn't everything that's trending ever. It's things that I like and that I'm looking for and that I will be referencing for myself. Two is that this doesn't mean that things from last year are out of trend. And the third thing is that all these images are from Vogue or WGSN, so that's where I got all my information from. And then I'll also just give you a little refresher about what we did from last year. So spring 2024 breakdown. So in that runway breakdown, I really did it based on vibes, like overarching themes. I did new 90s, black and white, utility, girly prep, updated prep, girly grunge, timelessness, and romance. So if you're interested in what I was talking about for 2024, and if you think I was accurate last year, go ahead and do that. I'll make a little link here to go back on it if you're interested. Like I said, all of those outfits, all of those looks are so in and so cute, like still. But we'll talk about what's new now. So we'll start off with our tones of navies and blues. Navy is going to be like the new black in the way that it's very nautical, it's very traditional, and it's just kind of the vibe right now. Also, considering denim is a huge trend, it's just like going to be the color. Also heather grays, different shades of grays, kind of leaning into that blue space. I also believe purple pops will be huge, so lavenders, lilacs, just like a very pretty spring femme color. And that brings us to greens, shades of greens, tones of greens, a little more yellow toned, and this is really because of the huge military resurgence and utility thing going on. So we started off with cargos kind of last year, and it was like not so overwhelming, but now we're really going hard. We're doing all the jackets, we're doing it on bags. There's gonna be so many, just like all over the place, really. Like every pant in the world is going to have different pockets, even down to your sweatpants, y'all. Like, I'm just telling you. So I'm excited about that. Same with the utility, really those brown tones, tans, and with those brown tones really comes like new color combinations that really feel very nostalgic for me, like brown and pink, green and purple. And then another color I really have been seeing often is peach, like very mauve, very bright, mauve and bright. I don't know what I'm saying, but basically like a peach. Like it's either very muted, it's bright, it's something. But peach is on its way in, and I think we're gonna be seeing like coral and teal, like not this year but the next. And that really reminds me of back in the day, because in college I had a graduation party and the theme was teal and coral. So I'm a little triggered, but I'm open to the idea of it in a new way. And then really last season we called out a lot of these like reddish oranges and butter yellows, which are still super relevant and will probably be reaching more of the mass market now. And that was still evident on the runways, but wasn't like the main thing. I would say the main thing are the navies, blues, greens, and browns. with a pop pink, okay? I also just want to say that the themes last year were a big thing, but I'm not gonna dive into them too much, but overarchingly, you'll notice that boho was back. We kind of discussed this in the fall winter runway breakdown, so that's not any new news. Nautical elements, duh, nautical for spring summer, but we did really move away from that a few years ago, and now we're kind of back in it. This like crafty moment, really Anthropologie is gonna pop off because they do crafty so well, so I'm very excited to have beautiful crafty elements that make clothing really unique. And also shout out to potential DIY ideas because, you know, we could try it out. And then I'll just also give a quick flash that my favorite runways were actually Chloe. I think it was everyone's favorite. Fendi surprised me. It was very beautiful pastels. I loved the embellishment, and I loved even their accessories. And it's not just because I've been obsessed with getting a Fendi baguette bag, which if this denim one ever came into my life, I would love that. But I think there was something to all their sheerness and their like practical trends. You know, it wasn't too unrealistic. Next, Gucci really surprised me. I wouldn't say I'm a Gucci girl, but they really stood for that 60s vibe and those bright, rich colors, and I could see the theme. They did all their stuff really in 2 different colors for each thing. They mixed and matched, and I thought that was very striking, and I really enjoyed that. And then the last one, also a little surprising, was Burberry. I thought they had a really great runway. I loved that they were like kind of giving this casual vibe to them that I haven't seen in a while, and I feel like they also gave a lot of belts and like accessories similar to what Miu Miu's done in the past. And this season Miu Miu was a little too much for me, like with the like underwear pants and all the layering. I understand that the runways are not meant to be practical, but I wasn't really loving it. It was not femme to me at all. So yes, exciting. So now, like I said, we'll go into the overarching ideas, and then we'll do an even further breakdown. Silhouette highlights. So starting off, I believe the oversized tee is going to be the vibe. As you can see, I'm a fan. I'm a fan for sure, and I love embellishment, so I had to just show off this little tee. You'll be able to buy it in a few months, just be patient. In gray though, not white. Maybe they're graphics, maybe they're embellished, maybe they're just plain Jane, and I'm just into that vibe. We really had a baby tee moment, and now we're kind of moving into oversized. Next is the Henley. So we talked about this previous seasons, but I feel like I'm seeing it in a summer way too, paired with a really cute skirt. Maybe it's a little bit of a knit woven mix. There's something new to it, has more of a mock neck, very practical, very professional, like could wear it dressed up, dressed down. We also have strapless, which seems obvious. Same with halter tops, and I'll dive deeply into those 2 topics. Sweater romper set I'll be diving into. 60s match sets I'll be diving into. Drapey skirts I will not, because I did previously talk about drapey skirts in fall winter, and it really just continues in more of these satin, lacy, gorgeous fabrics that are very drapey and silky and skirtsy. And I love how it's tied back with that big oversized tee, giving that juxtaposition, which always makes styling really cool. Is like, okay, we do a little oversized tee and then we have a very femme skirt. I love to balance the like casual with the dressy because it makes you look cool. Like, she looks cool. Then we have carpenter pants, which I also didn't go really diving into, but basically utility shifts from these cargos, large pockets on denim, into this carpenter vibe where it's just like a lot of seaming. We've got snaps, we've got rivets going on, and it's not to say cargo is out, but utility is shifting into like more seaming type vibes. The shift dress, I feel like I talk about that every single season. I love this one because it is that 60s vibe where it has a very structured body and it's just plain Jane. I've seen a lot of leather, I've seen a lot of large florals, like nothing new there really. Next is the maxi trouser skirt. So love this one. They added embellishment. Like, really, you know something did well like the season prior if they do it again and like throw some texture on it, throw it in a new fabrication, put a little embellishment on. So they must have been slaying with their maxi skirts in utility last year, and I'm gonna add it to my list this year because I never did get one. The super maxi skirt we'll be diving into. The collarless jacket, and jackets in general, we'll talk about it later. The bubble on bubble we'll deep dive into. Femme leather set. Really, I just love this image. I think it's very organic draping of leather. I love the 12th print. I love a print on an outerwear. I think it's really chic and cool. And then last we have the military jacket, which Burberry did so much military, so much utility, so much like of these color schemes came from Burberry. As for details and fabrics, we have embellished denim, either that's embroidered, that's rhinestoned, it has some kind of fun texture to it. Still loving organic florals, 3D rosettes. Kind of the same thing. We've got bold flowers, so I still love that on a shift dress, and I've been trying to get one of those since like 2022, so this year might be the year that I get one. Lace and layering, I feel like this is overstepping the eyelet thing. It's either really crafty laces or we're layering it, so we'll get into that and also include some of those sheer layerings too, because we did not get away from that this year. I've seen a lot of plaids in like a summer way, and plaid I feel like traditionally is a very winter thing or a fall thing, very, you know, Merry Christmas, welcome to the pumpkin patch. But we're seeing it a lot in like a feminine pink small checkery way. Chiffon shine is gorgeous. I love this dress, even though it has the cold shoulder, which I feel like is so ingrained in me that's not cool anymore. I do think that there might be seeing those again, you guys. Just fair warning. A lot of beaded appliques, maybe they're a little more ornate. There's a lot more detail to it versus more cartoon motifs that are big and bold. Sequins really stay, so paillettes are big, clear sequins are big, full sequin dresses, full sequin tops, full sequin pants. Everything is still very sequin oriented, so I wouldn't be surprised if stores continue putting things out like that for the next 1 or even 2 seasons. I know we've been doing it for a little bit, but the runways are still kicking it there. Crafty elements, so these little shorts from Cynthia Rowley are so cutie patootie, and we'll be going further into crafty elements. Sheer bottoms, so this kind of like mixes and matches with the lace layering situation, but still continuing to see little mini skirts with a sheer layer underneath. I feel like Prada did this huge, then Miu Miu, and now Fendi is hopping on, and I think that I can understand it from Fendi more, maybe because I've seen it before now, but like I can see how this is like cute, and I love that the colors are more tonal and pretty versus like the very vibrant where we once had. Crochet, I mean, it's summer, like crochet will be there I think forever, but with the boho trend coming through, crafty elements coming through, crochet, 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 crochet. I also love a little realism print, so the sunset is gorgeous on her. Roberto Cavalli really did this up with his prints, and he had such an organic, beautiful display of sunset realism printing. I also love the kitschy foodie motifs. I feel like we've been seeing this kind of, even like Abercrombie does so many cherries, strawberries, I don't even know, oranges everywhere. Like food is really going to continue, but I love it on this sweater because it also is more of a location. I feel like locations and very in your face obvious prints are a thing that are a little bit more specific, but it's not like a tourism thing. It's just looks cool kind of vibe, which I don't know, that's been around forever, but I mean, this gorgeous sweater, who doesn't want that? We really do have a dramatic pearl situation going on, so seeing it and gloves on necklaces, in a graphic, in a bag, even like I've seen them as suspenders. It's wild. I'm so into it. It's very Breakfast at Tiffany's to me, and I've held on to large chunky pearls for this reason. We also have a little bit of a layered ruffle resurgence, so we will be talking about that. Fun stripes are obvious, but I just really love this little sweater romper. It's a little bit too short for me, like these very high cut underwear like pants are in. Hate to break it to ya, but I mean, hopefully the mass markets give it a couple inches for us girly pops walking around in real life. And then we have polka dots continuing, so I don't really highlight that because we really talked about it at length in the past, and I think there's enough inspiration out there to get that vibe, but it is still all over the runways. And then lastly in our big topic will be accessories. So the hobo bag is from Burberry, but it's suede, and then it has like that binding around it that really just, I love those seams and that clasp. It's just such a vibe. And then the pocket bag, I don't know, there's probably a name for this. This is Maj. Of course, I'm so obsessed with it. I looked at it. It's online right now for like $500, and I'm not gonna lie, I am tempted, but I am realistic, and we can maybe hopefully thrift something like this. I feel like it's very 2010. I remember moms wearing things like this all the time. They would put their little cell phones on the sides. Maybe you can relate. Anyone out there who's owned one of these before, seen it, like, you know the vibes of this bag, but they did do it in a really cool way, and then it doesn't hurt that the photography is very cool with this like nautical striped sweater off the shoulder vibe. I mean, boat necks off the shoulder, it's massive. That will be part of my personal trend breakdown. Then we have denim and embellishment, so loving it on the bag. Belts really continue to be a big thing. A lot of them are placed a little bit lower on the hip in like that boho way, so it's similar to what we would see from Isabel Marant. I hear that's trending. I didn't love the runway, so sorry. It's a little too eccentrically boho for me, but elements of Isabel Marant I of course love. So for accessories, like pearl necklaces are huge. I love this one because it has little chunky rhinestones, colorful rhinestone within it, and I love that it's like kind of the shirt. So a designer would maybe take this and be like, oh, okay, she's kind of wearing this big necklace as a shirt. Obviously in real life you wouldn't probably do that unless you were like a celebrity going to something cool. And I would take that and say, oh, okay, pearl embellishment is a thing, so maybe I would use different pearl strings and like make some shapes that are similar on a t-shirt like this, and maybe add colorful rhinestones within. That's like an example of how runways really indicate what's gonna happen in the mass markets and what's gonna be going down. So there's that. Even on the belts, we have pearls. I love little chain belts, and I was really into those last summer, and even the summer before, maybe even more, but I want to acquire more of those items. Loving the mismatching scale of earrings, so like a large organic hoop and a small stud. Very cool, very telling of our economic state, because they're like, oh, you could have two gorgeous huge earrings, or you could just have one and then we'll, you know, cut the cost for ourselves, make it cool, and do half of the option on the other hand. So sometimes you can really tell the economic status by what's trending, hence raw edges, hence mixing and matching, more emphasis on accessories than on full styles. Like, it's a whole thing I could probably break into. Loving the gladiator sandals, love the colored stones on this. Are they stones? Yes, they're stones. Those are really cute. And again, sheer socks are very interesting. I love that these are embellished. I think that I'm super interested in doing like a lace sock. A lace tight is really into, like, this sheer element is definitely there. Then we also have rose hair clip, so I think it would be really fun. And I actually think it'd be fun to also put on different parts of your outfit. I actually was a bridesmaid in a wedding and we wore large flowers on our neck. It was like a necklace, like a little choker. I've tied it on my straps before and kind of updated just a plain black cami, and that's like a fun way to accessorize without buying like a whole new cami. Like, get something that you can maneuver and manipulate and stay on budget. Scarves are so cutie. I don't know that I'll ever be able to pull this off, putting it in the hair, wrapping it around the neck, all the things. The only thing I've ever been able to pull off is a scarf around as a top. So super cute, love the polka dot vibe here. And then lastly, mesh. So maybe that's in a sporty way with this polo. It's seen it on tank tops, seen it as like a dress. Maybe it's a mesh sweater where it's see-through, but very open stitching and this mesh vibe that really fits into all different places. I think if not this year, it'll be big next year. So those are the overarching big ideas, and then I'll do even a further breakdown. But if that's all you needed to hear, thank you so much for being here. And I really love making these outlays and putting pen to paper in a way, just really highlighting the things that I liked from runways, the trends I liked, personally had a gravitation towards, and then that way when I do thrift and buy secondhand, I'm able to kind of spot these little details or vibes better than going into a thrift store and feeling overwhelmed, or even like a shop, or giving into huge mass market like influencer marketing where it's like, you need this, you need this, you need this. No, like, what do you actually like? What is trendy for you? And also just reviving your closet. Maybe some of these things you've had, maybe you do have, maybe you can find it on Poshmark. Like, that's the vibe here. So anyway, subscribe if you're into it, and if you want to stay tuned, let's dive deeper and we'll talk through some of my favorite trends overall and really look at multiple images from the runways and who designed them and talk about it, chat. So the first thing I'm really loving are sweater romper sets. And I mean, these can be really fun and playful. So I'm really loving Louisa Spagnoli. I think I'm saying that correctly, Louisa Spagnoli. She really showed up and showed out as far as crochet, sweaters. I had never seen this designer before, or I never thought I saw this designer before, but I was really into her runways. And I'm loving the pop of color with this open stitch and how these like crochet jackets have pockets and they're like shirty. I will say a lot of those woven elements that are on an oversized shirt or a button down or like a traditional bomber jacket is now kind of being added into sweaters, into sweatshirts, fleeces. Like, we're all looking for comfort, and I think that is kind of happening where it's like you get the elements of elevation but you are comfortable. So I'm loving this outfit. I also will say if I do any micro shorts or mini little things, it will be in a crochet way or in a sweater short way where it's very beachy. It's not necessarily me in New York City going to grab drinks with the girls. I love the length of these two Chanel sets. The stripe play, the color play, so fun, so cute with the little ruffles. Like typically you would see these little pockets or plackets on a jacket, a blazer, but they're doing it on a sweater and on a short that's made out of, you know, yarn. So it's comfortable and it's cute and it looks really, really fun. So I'm loving those too. This is where I really fell in love with the Fendi show, is because of this buttery yellow set and then it has the red neckband. So just so fun, so chic. I mean, I can absolutely picture myself wearing this in the Hamptons this summer. So I just need to figure out how to get that at my price point, but definitely aspirational. I also love how she's wearing it in the next look with a super long length fur coat. It just seems so chill, so cool. And I also love the pattern of the, like, it's more of a jacquard sweater so that you get that pattern. It's a little more flat and it just looks so cute. I love grays. So these colors and this styling is so up my alley. Couldn't not mention the Chloe set. So this one's very ruffly, very fun. I don't know how realistic, but I do foresee like brands doing some kind of ruffly trim. I am obsessed with this Gabriella Hearst set. The artistry you have to like know and the knowledge you have to know about sweaters to get that cool pattern and all the gradations in between. Like, that's probably $1 billion for that outfit. And also just calling out the flare pant, the flare sleeve. We're just gonna be seeing a lot of that going on, and I love that it goes even back to a bag. Like, we are really going all out with patterns and sets and set dressing, so she nailed that. I even like this designer's take on sweater, like swimsuit looking. Like, I think that people are going to be wearing these in real life, like walking around real life, but imagining it as like a striped swimsuit and then having a really long matching drapey like cardigan, I think is really chic and cool. And I love that it's brown and ivory, and also just like the really large scale stripe I think is very fun and chic. And then the last three are very practical. Veronica Beard, Lorena Antonzonian. These things will be in ready to wear hitting the floor soon, and they're just like very long thin sweaters that make it very beachy and fun, and I do want those this year. So I'm just really obsessed with these sweater sets and like sweater rompers. The next thing I'm loving are maxi satin skirts, and I actually this winter went thrifting and I found one and I was like, oh, I don't know, it's not very practical. I mean, think about walking around the city with like a maxi skirt, but I fear that I will figure it out because I'm still thinking about this skirt that I tried on. It was still, I think, like $50, but it was bright blue, down to the floor, satin, literally had pin tucks like this. I'll show you a photo, and it would have been perfect for summer, but it's okay. We move on. I'll highlight the faves. So the first look is Cynthia Rowley. I'm so into those large stripes, so I'm hoping to find some thrifted looks with those large stripes that have fun colors or even neutral, like that black and ivory. Love this Stod set where we have that peachy color back to red. I think that color combo is very fun. These next two Burberry skirts are very chic, very cool, and I like that there's a version with a slit. I think that's nice, and these are what really remind me of the blue skirt that I tried on. Fendi again, so they did this so many times in different colorways, but my favorite was the peachy color back to brown. Like I said, that color combination I think is very chic, very in. So I'm down for it. Next up is Ralph Lauren. Actually, I think a super famous, now I don't know her name, was it Kelsey Ballerini or something? Wore this to the Grammys and everyone was up in arms because they were like, why would she wear a t-shirt? Well, guess what? The economy is bad. And guess what else? Even the runways are aware of that. And this is a way I think that we can see that even through like fashion. So we have a very extravagant skirt and like a very easy tee, and it also shows that high-low cool girl vibe. Then we have this fun trouser skirt. So talked about how maxi skirts are very in. We had the embellished version 1, but we also have this checker one, and I think this is really nice. It's from Zinkoff. I've never heard of this designer, but I'm really into even just that outfit overall. Back to a flip-flop. Like, we're in a flip-flop season. We were last year and we'll still continue to be in it this year. We have the next set, which looks so cozy. We have a gorgeous Henley. We're wearing gray. We have a maxi sweater skirt down to the floor, very comfy, casual, and almost all of these looks have a belt with them, so I'll just like throw that out there. And also, this goes without saying, but most looks will incorporate 1, 2, 3 elements of the trend, and as I talked through it, like, you can start pinpointing those things out as you look at the photo too. Like, it's pretty crazy how much overlap there is. On the last Hermes, we have the sheer maxi skirt. I love this back to the bomber jacket and how the bomber jacket has a leather jacket vibe to it. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it is leather actually, but with the snaps, how it's like folding like this, you know, crossing over. It's not super uptight and traditional. It's like slouchy, it's cool girl, and I'm super into that. The next category is silly. I basically was like, you know what, I just want to talk about all the jackets. So jacket season, duh. I feel like spring and fall is where the jackets really thrive, and you can't not look at them. So I'm loving the collarless jacket look. Maybe it's a fun stripe like this, Veronica beard and leather. Like, so many lady jackets in leather. I don't have one like that yet. I do want to acquire one. I love, love, love this Coach look with the brown. I love the length of it because it's a little bit longer than anything I've seen before, and it has the collarless element. It also has very much utility but lady vibes with all these patch pockets, and then even like the buttons with the C. Usually that would bother me, branding everything, but the color of them, it's really cute and just kind of looks like a metal hit. We also have Ralph Lauren with the similar pocket detailing and silhouette, but in denim, and I'm just like really into the long vibes. Next, we have Prada. This is gorgeous because it's a full set, and we have underneath it like a little bit of a jacket shirt with the zipper, making it cool with the very, I don't know if you want to say buttoned up, but very simplistic longer leather jacket. And then we have the very shorty short shorts. So like I said, shorty short shorts, we're in full scale shorty shorts. Next we have Brandon Maxwell. So I'm loving this outfit in general, but as far as the jacket goes, I loved, like, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it's just the way they were able to style it because he's like a model and not walking around real life. But I'm loving that the collar like is raised, and it seems purposeful, but I don't think that the zipper fully goes all the way up, but I do think that's a very cool vibe. And then they also just have a cool oversized relaxed silhouette type of look to it that I'm very into. Antonio Moraz, I don't know, so sorry about it pronouncing things, but again with the head to toe print, so we even have it down to the bucket hat. But just wanting to call out like this drapey leather that feels very feminine, and then the juxtaposition of the epaulettes on the shoulders, kind of giving a military-esque vibe. So I would die to wear that outfit. It looks so good. Next, I felt like Prada really came to the table with some new jacket silhouettes, like sort of these bomber updates, if you will. So I love that this first one is a popover, and also that it has zippers instead of like buttons or something, and then it goes back to a little mini skirt and a little low belt. So really seeing those low belts happening everywhere. The next one, same kind of styling but different, and I love when designers do that. So it's like, okay, yep, we have a different type of jacket, but it's a similar vibe. We're layering it with a blue pop, but then we have a pant instead of a skirt going on, so it's like the same outfit, but it's not. Chloe, this jacket with the puff and like the tight cuffs on this, whatevers. I just think that's really cool, and I think it's quilted, and I think it has a little bit of an embroidery on it, and I just think that's really cool. So I wanted to highlight it. That's why I just did jackets, because I was like, there's no one jacket that I'm like, this is the jacket. It's more like, ooh, I liked a lot of jackets. But lastly, do want to talk about the military jacket, because I've been looking for one of these when I was thrifting so much. I've seen a lot of winter wear ones, so these are more spring forward, where it's that twill fabrication or even like a light leather. So loving how Burberry did it with more of a fitted silo in those green tones, and then had that big patch on there. I think that's very cool, very academia of a vibe. And then lastly, you know, Tom Ford with the more nighttime glam look for it. So really the 60s match set comes strictly from Gucci. I do think there were a lot of very similar silhouettes on different designers, but Gucci was like, we are here to look like the 60s and we are gonna do it big and do it in color. So I'm loving just overall the skirt length. It's like a bubble skirt, but it's straight at the bottom. I don't know what that is. I love every single jacket they did, like the cinched in zip up with like a large sleeve. Like, I don't even know what I'm saying, because the 60s is so far from anything I'm really used to, but I feel like with the gloves, it's just like giving 60s, and even to the heel, like I'm so into it, and I feel like these are some really cool outfits that I would love to wear. So I just really wanted to highlight Gucci. I think they did a really good job. Next we have halter tops, tube tops, like duh, okay, summer. We kind of had these things pop in last year, but even on the runways are still relevant, so that means they'll be here for a while. So if you were on the fence about investing in some of these things, I really think you're safe to, because we'll be getting some even cooler ones out and they're still on the runway. So I'm really into this Tanya Taylor sweater version. I love the placement of the stripe and the contrast binding. There's more drapey versions to wear back to a denim to go out sparkly, so that's Stella McCartney. We have Tory Burch in a dress. I actually think that this is a razorback, but I'm just saying it's a halter right now because it looks like one in this image, and this is a sick image because it's a leather, it's ruffly, and it looks like a halter. The last one is that Luisa Spagnoli, and I think that this bubble hem, large collar, halter crochet dress is so cool and chic, and I am really into it. And then we have our tube top, so maybe it's a peplum, maybe it's a corset vibe. So I just think these images are really cool. I love that it's also even in a dress, like with embellishment. And then the last one, Kate Barton, really sick draping skills here, and like it looks like plastic, but you know that's not. I'm just really impressed by that image, and I think it's really cool, and it's strapless, so I thought it works. Although I guess I said tube top, not strapless. I changed my mind. Strapless halter. Okay. And then we have an embellished denim, which this is something I want to DIY this summer, and I'll often do like a DIY video kind of breaking down how I did things. I've done in the past like studs on my jacket. I've done repainting my shoes. I've done making my own bubble skirts. So if you're interested in DIY, I do have that on my channel, and I'm sure I'll be adding a denim version soon. I just need to find the dang pants. My capabilities would probably not be this ornate, but I just love this first one from Vivetta goes along the leg and then on the other leg. Like, I love how they're not perfectly even all the time. I also really love this Jonathan Cohen version where it's bursts of flowers and like these rustic tones next to Cynthia Rowley. So this is like more, what's the word, mirrored, you know? And I actually think that there are shining elements on these, as well as cutouts and like eyelets into these denims, but just like a very cool embroidered crafty look. And then lastly, Chanel actually showed up and showed out with a little bit of a denim embellishment themselves, and I don't know that they're my favorites, but I'm just highlighting that it is a thing. Next up is organic florals. So I kind of combine this with the rosette of it all, the 3D flower. I think it's just a very fun femme detail, and I'm shocked that we're not walking away from it because it was definitely a thing last year and it just continues. In this season, we have, you know, herringbone, we have plain, we have hot pinks, we have polka dots, we have organic, beautiful backless. I mean, this image with the backless dress of all those flowers, so stunning. Also in more of a wearable way, we have kind of a tank, I think my radiator's going off. We have kind of a tank top. It's more sheer, but she's wearing clothes under it. Like, you know, we've probably all seen that the girlies are topless on the runways these days, but she's wearing an actual dress underneath and then layering this on, so thinking that's really pretty. Loving the way this next image actually has a stem to the rosette. I feel like that's very realism versus the cartoony thing that we were once seeing a lot of. Like, I love this plaid brooch that this woman has on her. I think that would be an easy thing to make and then wear. These next two images are so beautiful. I am so into this boat neck printed ending in organza fluid flowers. Like, that is so beautiful, and the reason I love fashion. And I discovered a new designer, which we love. So I also love that this next look, it's kind of on her like a suspender way, like the flowers anyway, and then just this fun little skirt. So we saw those types of skirts kind of in Gucci. We've been like, you'll see them across, and I think that's something I'm interested in seeing, is like these just fun volume short skirts. And then lastly, we have like a floral bag. So I think that's really cool. Definitely something attainable that, you know, we could figure out. So next up we have the Crafty element. So this really goes hand in hand with crochet. So a lot of these things can only really happen with crochet or with like cutting a knitted fabric and like patching things on. So love the way that these are placed as like all over on the long dress, sort of just up here with Ellie Saab's version, and then even like with the crochet romper, back to the romper thing. Like, I couldn't show every image of a crochet romper or a sweater set. So just you get the overall idea that that outfit is going to be the it outfit this year, and even adding a crafty element just brings it to the next level. This Cynthia Rowley short is so pretty. She also did it on a sweater in a couple of different ways, but I feel like this outfit in general is very attainable, and I think it's very cool that the crochet or the crafty embellishment dangles. I think that's really cool. And then the last two also are just versions of dresses that have squiggly, like crafty vibes to them. Then we have bubble on bubble on bubble. So we've talked about bubble skirts. We know about bubble skirts. I did a bubble skirt DIY, like I said, but just seeing so many bubble skirts, shirts, even the newest addition I would say are pants. So you might call these like a balloon pant, but they're very fluid, chiffon, lightweight pants that the girlies are wearing. So I'll just highlight my favorite bubble skirt, which is that Chloe set. The hot pink back to that jacket is something I am so into, and I'm even into like a bubble top, like this chiffon top back to these balloon pants from Alberto Ferretti. He did so many of these bubbly versions, and you know Zara's gonna eat up those little bubble dresses and things if they haven't already. So the next large topic of discussion would be lace and layering. So I kind of combine these because they really do the same thing with the sheerness, the embellishment, the lace, the pretty femme. So we have a lot of like lacy elements that have the sheer moment mixed in. So maybe it's a chiffon dress with lace around the neckline, maybe it's a chiffon top, lacy bra underneath, maybe it's a lacy top with a lacy dress on top, you know? So you can see these images, you know the vibes. Fendi did this up, Chloe did this up, Ula Johnson too, and even Valentino really stood out with their lace tights and their lace socks and their lace gloves. So even accessories are going to be very lace focused. Layered ruffles come into play again, whereas we've seen a lot of like ruffles in general, maybe around a neckline, maybe on a hem, whatever. But the newness that I noticed are layering the ruffles. So maybe that's like these fun dresses from Luisa Spagnoli where they're a tube top or like a more fitted body, and then we have like this high slit, keeping it fun, keeping it cool, but layering those ruffles. Similar to like fully layered ruffles, we have Laquan Smith did this in a short version, and we also have another one in black, not the same designer. So we see that in more of a tulle way. We are seeing it in chiffon ways, we're seeing it in satin ways. I'm really into the satin, and I'm so sorry for the radiator. So annoying, I'm so sorry. I cannot control it or I would literally shut it down forever. But we have Alberto Ferretti. This satin one is so pretty, classy, sexy, and I think it's just very fun. I mean, even Tory Burch did so many of these like layered ruffle, asymmetrical skirts that are really cool, and I just wanted to highlight that in general. The next thing that is newness really is the ornate embellishment versus the like chunky fun embellishment. Seeing it as like a fabrication. Versace did this a lot in like different cool colors, standing for these drapey silhouettes with these large beaded intricate ornate flowers. I'm seeing it on Fenty's Runway in their bags, all over their sweaters, little hits here and there, and then also highlighting Erdem, E-R-D-E-M, Erdem. They really did some cool stuff on their runways where they placed ornate embellishments that you would see on like gowns, on suits. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm really into it. The green like overlayer, it looks like a dress on top of like a suit. That has to mean something. There's something probably that this is like feminism and art, but whatever it is, it's beautiful. And I also just love the coloration of these soft pastels in this MAC jacket. And that is it, you guys. I really love putting these videos together. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Give me a like. I would love to hear a comment on the things that you're excited for, your favorite parts of this video, your favorite runway show from spring 2025. How excited are you for fall 2025 to be coming out soon? Like, Fashion Week's coming and I will be screenshotting on Vogue, getting ready for my next presentation, which is really what this video is like a presentation seminar of like what I'm thinking as far as trends go. And this is really where I love to thrive, is in trends and runway shows. And the next part too, where I'll be taking some of these looks and even other looks that didn't quite make the like big idea call out things and recreating them with things that I have in my closet. And then I often will use this as a tool to look back on after thrifting, which I spoke on already. It is kind of a roadmap for me and a guideline that I like to look at, and I like to look at the past ones too, because these runways come out every 6 months, and I'm telling you right now, they don't like go away. Like, these trends start, they stay for like 5 years. So like I said, I do this on the side of my fashion job, and I would love your support. If you want to subscribe, that would be amazing. And I will see you guys in my next video. I post videos once a week, sometimes 2 times a week, but we'll be heading back to the 1 time a week because listen, it is tough to edit these huge videos and do the research and do the video well. So please subscribe if you haven't yet. I know I've said it like 3 times, but again, would love. And I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, hope you loved it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later. For real this time. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.